Oh, good afternoon from Estadio Alfredo Harpelu, just outside the heart of Mexico City. It's the 2026 Baseball Champions League, and we have finally hit our final game of pool play action. It's the Diablos Rojos taking on the Crocodiles of Mexico. Trevor Curl, Colin Russo, and Colin, we have got ourselves another good one. Kane County Cougars have already locked themselves in for Championship Sunday. It's time to determine on who is going to be the opponent and the visitor.
Yeah, that's right, and this is a huge game for that, and Diablos knows exactly what they need to do. If they win, they're in, and we see a rematch of that first nightcap we had on day one. That would be epic. However, the Crocodiles have a chance to play some spoil here and potentially get Dantos onto that next game. So there's a lot at stake between these two. Should make for a fun atmosphere and a fun game.
Yeah, as we look at the standings here, we have the King County Cougars at the #1 spot. They are slotted in as the #1 home team as well in the process. But yeah, that #2 slot, who is it going to be? And right now, Diablos looking like the favorites going into this game, the way they've played the last couple of ball games, including the last night battle against the Brothers. And the Brothers gave them a run for their money. The offense that the Chinese Taipei was showing out. But again, the unfortunate aspect of that, an inexperienced ball club versus a lineup that's chock full of former big league stars, showed up that night.
Yeah, that's right, and then really the power started to show up for the Diablos. You look at home runs by Rio Ruiz and Brian Gonzalez, and of course, the huge grand slam by John Singleton, a part of a 5-hit performance. He is going to be a big problem for this Cuban team if they're not careful about it. But it is important to mention Carlos Sepulveda, who's a huge part of this team, and the top spot that he's been batting at #1. Went out with an injury, not in the starting lineup today. So you had to do a little bit of shuffling if you're Lorenzo Bundy on how you're going to run the top part of this offense. We'll see if that affects the Diablos team with Ramon Flores leading off.
Now, another speed option at the top of your lineup card, but that does mean 1 through 9 is not as complete as it would be without Sepulveda's bat. But you're going to see a young right-hander on the Cuban side. Shail Cruz will take the ball. And when you're looking at a young pitcher who's going against an experienced lineup like the Diablos, what is the key for him to go at it?
Yeah, I think you definitely have to just hit your spots. Make sure you're getting in the strike zone. Do not fall behind in the count. We saw that happen with Chinese Taipei and that John Singleton grand slam. It was 3-1 count right down the middle, and Singleton gave it a ride. They are certainly capable of doing that. So if you're Shail Cruz, just try to hit your spots. Do your best to not fall behind in counts.
Miguel Yaher will take the ball for the Diablos, and this will be his debut in a Diablos uniform after some years in the major leagues and as well out in Japan. So he gets a chance to fire up this rambunctious crowd that is getting set behind us. AA Baseball TV will have game number 10 of Pool Play Baseball Champions League coming up next. 05 from Estadio Alfredo Harpelú. Yulieski Ramon leading things off for the Crocodiles, facing up against Miguel Yaher. A swing and miss, no balls and 2 strikes to quickly start off the action. Julio Molina has balls and strikes behind home plate. Edwin Hernandez at first, Keith McConkey at second, and Carlos Leon at third, your umpire crew. 0-2 pitch, fastball missing northbound. Yaher getting ready for his first action in Diablos uniform after a couple of years in Major League Baseball, splitting time with the New York Yankees back in 2020 and 2022, and a little bit of time with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Following a couple of seasons in the NPB, here he is getting ready for his stint in Liga Mexicana del Baseball. 2-2. A swing and a miss for strike 3. A good start for the Diablos. 1 gone to open up the top half of the first.
Well, you're seeing already the mix-up of speeds. That one just falling right off the table at 81 miles an hour after showing off those fastballs at 90+. That's the kind of thing that this Cuban team's going to have to worry about.
I will bring up Esteban Terry. 4 for his last 12 in the 2026 BCL tournament. First pitch, bouncer up the middle and past the diving Villalobos into center. A 1-out single, and the Crocodiles are in business with a 1-out knock.
5th hit of the tournament now for Esteban Terry. See if maybe the Crocodiles can make some early noise. It's been 14 innings since they have pushed a run across.
The defense for the Diablos, left to right in the outfield, Brian Gonzalez, Ramon Flores, Jose Marmoleos. Across the horn in the infield, Michael Franco, Jesus Villalobos, Moises Gutierrez, Rio Ruiz, and Gabriel Gutierrez. Behind home plate, he is doing the catching. First pitch misses down and inside to Eduardo Blanco. Blanco, Yasiel Gonzalez, Jose Noronha, André Perez, Yariel Duque, Luis Sanchez, and Luis Mateo, the 9 for the Crocodiles. 1-0, breaking for second, Terry, pitches fouled back. Count evens at 1. A debut for Major League Baseball for Yahari. New York Yankees in the 2020 COVID-shortened season had a 1.29 ERA in 3 games, just 7 innings of work, collected 8 strikeouts. His highest work total was in 2022 with the Pittsburgh Pirates, where he had 12 games, 1 start, an 8.88 ERA with 16 strikeouts. But time in the NPB splitting between Yakult and Rakuten. Total 17 and 16 in the win-loss department, a 3.72 ERA with 37 strikeouts and 193 and 2/3 innings pitched between 2022 and 2024. Soft chopper to the right side. Moises Gutierrez has no play. A little squimming infield single off the bat of Eduardo Blanco. Runners at first and second to bring up Yasiel Gonzalez.
Yeah, soft contact, but Gutierrez and Villalobos playing in that double play depth, so Gutierrez having to make a long run over, and the speed from Eduardo Blanco just proving to be too much. First and second, just the 1 out.
So here's Yasiel Gonzalez, and 1 through 9 for the Crocodiles. This will be the most threatening bat in their lineup. Already 4 hits in the tournament so far. Just 1 extra base hit. It's a double. 2 runs batted in. But has a chance to open up the scoring. Runners at first and second to begin the top half of inning number 1. Temperatures right at about 68 degrees, but half of the diamond in shade at the moment, at least on the right side of the infield, going out towards right field. First pitch taken for a called strike. And again, if the shadows weren't so much involved in the game that we had earlier this morning, it'll definitely be a factor here, at least in the first couple of innings, with the outfielders still having to battle the afternoon sun that's going to start approaching its descent beyond the first base side. A special 4:05 start time here to wrap up pool play. Busted bat, softly hit on the ground. Rio Ruiz will flip to Yahari covering the bag at first base. Smooth operation 3-1. Pushing Terry and Blanco into scoring position 2 away for Jose Noronha. A lot of soft contact early.
Especially when you lose 7/8 of your bat. He was just left holding a handle. But at the end of the day, it's a productive out, gets runners at second and third, and now you just trust on Noronha to swing a hot bat.
4 hits so far, couple of runs batted in.
Muchachos, ayuden al canal, den like, compartan, ayuden a que los demás vean el partido, suscríbase, se agradece, muchísimas gracias.
The final unissued jersey from number 0 to 99 in MLB history.
Diablos in their home reds. Red cap with a green bim, white trousers, and the pants pulled up to show the Red Sox. First pitch taken in off the plate. Crocodiles, as you can see, they've got those bright yellows, some red piping on the top pinstripes, and the red sleeves matching with the red helmets and hats. The 1-0. Downstairs for ball 2. For Mexico, their path to Sunday is easy. Let's take care of business here this afternoon to set the stage for a rematch against the Kane County Cougars tomorrow afternoon. Los Santos, after their loss earlier today, are now just sitting and waiting. 2-0. There's a called strikeout over the middle. 2-1. Well, this is the first time since going back to a couple of games ago, Crocodiles against Dantos, that they've had a runner just at third base. 2-1. Swinging a foul first base side. It was a rare sight to see just a runner even get to second base against Kane County.
Only happened 2 times.
As Colin mentioned, Crocodiles have yet to put a run across in 14 innings. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runners at second and third here in the top half of inning number 1. Swing and a miss for strike 3. We'll have to wait for 15. The side retired. We go now to the bottom of the first. Diablos get a chance to swing it and home.
Hola, 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 hola. Por favor, vamos a dar like, vamos a compartir la señal, vamos a ayudar a que el video avance, que los demás lo vean. Muchas gracias.
ground ball in late stages yesterday evening against the brothers. So Ramon Flores will be the leadoff batter here against Cruz. Here's the first pitch. It's taken outside for ball one. Shael Cruz, a young kid, coming into the belly of the beast here. A pretty good crowd on hand as they're just filing in, making their way down to their respective seats. Runs low and away for ball two.
Well, the BCL debut of Shael Cruz probably didn't go according to plan. Pitched 2/3 inning against Dantos, had 4 hits, 3 earned runs, gave up a double.
In 2024, in his debut season, he posted 49 innings, had a 1-0 record. Most of his time out of the bullpen, had the occasional spot start, but was big in 2026 in a defeat of Las Tunas to help bring the Crocodiles here. A fly out to left. There's one away to bring up Moises Gutierrez. All right, take a look at this Diablos lineup. Flores, Gutierrez, Marmoleos, John Singleton, Michael Franco, Rio Ruiz, Brian Gonzalez, Gabriel Gutierrez, and Jesus Villalobos. Rounds off the 9. First pitch to Gutierrez is taken for ball one. Now, Moises Gutierrez has been a staple in the number 2 spot in this lineup card for Lorenzo Bundy. 4 for his last 11, a home run and 3 runs batted in. 1-0, bounce on the ground to short, giving ground Mateo, spins around, fires a first, dug out and held onto by Uriel Duque. 2 gone on a slick play by the Crocodile shortstop.
Yeah, he made this look easy. Hard hit ball right back up the middle. We've seen so many of those go through in this tournament, but able to slide down and make a spin around. And a good little stop, too, by Duque. Those short hoppers right in front of you that you can't really go out and pick can be a little difficult. Caught it right in the breadbasket.
So here's Jose Marmoleos. First pitch takes a strike. Well, the power of Marmoleos has yet to be seen. 3 for 13 to open up pool play with a double and a triple and 3 runs batted in. Spits on a changeup downstairs. He has had offensive production, drawing walks and setting the table for the man behind him, John Singleton. Takes a called strike 2. But it just has not been the tournament that Jose Marmoleos has been looking for. Wins helping him and the fellow left-handers behind him, blowing directly out to right center. And time is called. Marmoleos will want one more second to get things rolling. 1-2. Swinging a big Baltimore chop to second. Yulieski Ramon has time. A toss to first and a clean 1-2-3 inning for Shael Cruz. We're through 1. No score here from Mexico City. We'll be back for the second.
Va a tener un poco difícil Matanza ganar este partido. Y necesita avanzar. Porque si no va a tener que jugársela con el primero del grupo. Y va a ser muy difícil que le ganen a los Pumas. ¿Qué creen ustedes? Dejen ahí. ¿Qué creen ustedes ahí en los comentarios? ¿Qué piensan? ¿Gana Matanza hoy o no?
inning number 2. 6, 7, and 8 due up. Perez, Duque, and Sanchez. Yajure, at the age of just 27 years old, but will soon celebrate a 28th birthday. Made his debut at the age of 24, late September of 2022 for the New York Yankees. The first pitch on the way to Perez. He takes a called strike. Oh, 1 is swung on and thumped out to left. Sending Gonzalez back. He turns, he looks, and it's gone. Andre Perez, a solo shot, 1-0 Crocodiles in the top of inning number 2.
Well, it took 15 innings, but finally the Crocodiles have a run on the board. 100 miles an hour even off the bat. 419 into that Crocodile bullpen, and an early lead for a change, this Cuban team.
Well, this ball was thumped, and Perez knew he got it. Flies to the back of the Cubans' bullpen, and that is a much-needed jump start. Yariel Duque with a swing and a miss.
I love the pitchers going after it like fans, trying to get the ball.
Well, it's been a tough go of it as of late for the Crocodiles. The 0-1. It's downstairs. But if there is a game to show up for in a big way, it would be this afternoon. Perez's first RBI of the tournament as well. 1-1. Big swing from Duque. Comes up empty.
It's only the third at-bat for Duque in this tournament. He does have an RBI, though, 1 for 2.
It bounces in. When this tournament is all said and done, we would have seen a fair share of handful of home runs, maybe enough that could last us about a month or so of games just in the regular season. Two. Swing and a miss. Has him fishing out front. There's the first out of the inning. Third strikeout for Yajure.
Just got him chasing again. He's got that low pitch dropping off the shelf working. Second time he's gotten one of these Crocodiles to swing. And that changeup just falling right off the table.
Well, like many of the pitchers who are experiencing their first ever games in Mexico City, first pitch, thrown bat, swinging strike. But it is a common theme from pretty much every pitcher that we have either A, talked to, or B, we have seen in an interview or have talked to local media about, is getting used to pitching here in Mexico City. Getting used to the breaking ball just not having the same bite as it would at sea level or wherever they have been training over the last offseason. And it just is a common theme that when you come here to Mexico City, you have to either develop certain pitches to help you pitch here in the elements, or you just simply have to find ways to make your pitches that you already got more effective, whether that is spinning it out in front a different way, whether it's utilizing your off speed over your breaking stuff. 1, swinging another whiff.
Well, the breaking stuff is certainly working early for Yajure.
Just the one mistake to Perez. A couple of weak contacted base hits back in the first inning. The 0-2. Outside and low. And what we saw from the Crocodiles specifically yesterday was their inability to hold up and chase and not chase. They might be the most free swinging team that we've seen so far in this tournament.
They certainly were against the Cougars.
The 1-2. Swing and a miss for strike 3. The ball gets away towards the third base dugout, and it's going to result in a drop third strike. And in the same at-bat, Luis Sanchez will find his way aboard, and his bat has been tossed twice.
Well, I guess it makes for a good distraction. Drop third strike. The first time we've seen that in this tournament where a runner has been aboard on first base because of it. A tough break for Yahari.
I'll bring up Luis Mateo. And it's not just like they're chasing a couple of pitches that are just outside the strike zone. These are wipeout sliders that these guys are going after. A thump to left. Backing up is Gonzalez. He can't get it. It bangs to the wall. Rounding second for third, Sanchez. He's getting the wave around. Here's a throw by Villalobos, and it's just going to be cut off. A late stop sign will put runners at second and third, but a double by Mateo. It's his first extra base hit of the tournament.
You think Gonzalez just misjudged this a little bit. He thought he had a chance to stay in front of it instead of putting his numbers to us. Tried to leap up and make a catch. And here on the round on third, it looks like maybe just a little bit of a misfooting or maybe just a last-second call to go back. Either way, second and third, just the one out.
Maybe it looked like he just held up on the brakes. It looks like he was getting the wave around all the way. Instead, maybe about a third of the way to home, Sanchez may have thrown his own emergency brakes on. So back to the top of the order. Here's Uliski Ramon. First pitch. He takes upstairs for ball one. A strikeout swing in his first time up. The lineup card already changing back to the top. One of the more bigger producers for this Crocodiles ball club. 5 hits so far with a home run and an RBI. 1-0 pitch, bounce on the ground to short. Villalobos will toss it over to first. There's the out. But coming in to score, Luis Sanchez, so the drop third strike ends up working out for the Crocodiles. It's 2-0.
Capitalizing on mistakes. New life from Luis Sanchez after the drop third strike, being able to work his way all the way to third and then eventually crossing home. And the Crocodiles showing their teeth early here.
I'll bring up Esteban Terry. He had a base hit his last time up for his 5th hit of the tournament. First pitch. Takes for ball one. And we've seen that upstairs pitch not be called as much of a strike so far here in BCL play. It's kind of encouraging pitchers to hit your spots low in the zone. 1-0. Swing and a jammed foul first base side. Pretty good crowd on hand here for this Saturday late afternoon action. Setting the stage for Championship Sunday. One team already in. Just the question mark on who their opponent will be. King County Cougars with the win against Dantos earlier in this morning. Securing a 4-0 lead at the top of the tables into Baseball Champions League play. The 1-1. Swing and a miss. A bullet slider down and outside. 1-2.
It's a great game, too, for those that tuned in. A lot of back and forth action between the Dantos and Cougars and what could potentially be a championship preview.
The Cubans lead 2-0. Looking to add some more. Mateo breaks for third. The 1-2 check swing. And ruled strike 3 on the 3/4 of the way through. And the inning comes to a close. But 2 runs cross for the Crocodiles. We head to the bottom of the second. At a nice and tidy bottom of the first. Fly out and then a couple of ground outs. So here's going to be the tougher task. John Singleton, who has homered twice so far in BCL play. A 2-run home run and a grand slam last night that quite literally slammed the door on the brothers in the top of the ninth. 6 for 14 so far with 7 runs batted in. First pitch in the dirt.
5 of those hits all coming against the brothers yesterday.
He's been a factor so far for this Diablos ball club. He has carried the weight when the runs just haven't simply been producing all of that much other than yesterday. If I'm not mistaken, yesterday was the first game the Diablos had double digits scored.
That is correct.
It's a 12th spot, 2-0. Singleton smashes off the first baseman Duque, rolling to the second baseman Ramon, flip to the pitcher, Cruz covering, some pinball wizard with the first out of the inning recorded.
That was blasted on the ground. Bounced right off Duque like a backboard, and Ramon just playing heads-up ball at second base, was able to make a play, and even more heads-up ball by Cruz to step on first. How do you even score that, Trevor? It's off 3 different people.
Well, Duque is getting some treatment on. There's that magic spray that we know and love. Another rocket shot that we've seen from either Marmoleos or Singleton. It's Singleton who puts an absolute missile on at first base, and Duque gets absolutely handcuffed. He's fortunate enough that that ball rolled right to his second baseman, and a heads up by Shael Cruz to get over to first base and cover. Could have easily been a runner aboard at first base.
That was unusual. Had a drop third strike already, and now that. It's a couple of oddities to start this game.
Michael Franco now steps in. He showed up last night with an RBI double. Now 3 runs batted in so far. First pitch, it clips him on the rump. First base runner for the Diablos, and it's Michael Franco to bring up Rio Ruiz.
Can't afford to do if you're Shael Cruz. Issuing the free passes, making these mistakes, because that is where the brothers will strike, or excuse me, the Diablos will strike.
Oh, it's just a breaking ball that just did not have the bite on it, and again, pitching in an elevation of 7,000 feet, the breaking ball does not have the same spin as it would back in Cuba. So everything almost working against the pitcher, including your stamina. First pitch to Ruiz. Fastball misses up and away. And Rio Ruiz has been a bright spot. He's batting 6 for Diablos. A home run, 3 runs batted in, and 4 hits so far in 11 at-bats. Franco aboard at first after the hit by pitch. 1-0, taken outside for ball 2. It was 2 runs in the top half of inning number 2 for the Crocodiles. Diablos finding their first base runner of the ball game in the Franco hit by pitch. Misses out.
And we're starting to see these pitch numbers tilt in the favor of the balls. 11 balls thrown to 7 strikes for Shael Cruz. We said it at the top. That's the kind of thing you can't do, is fall behind against these power bats of the Diablos.
A 3-ball alarm sound. High for ball 4. A hit by a pitch and a 4-pitch walk. Puts runners at first and second for Brian Gonzalez. And maybe it's the atmosphere inside of Estadio Alfredo Harpelu that could be getting to the young right-hander. Well, it's not the full 26,000 capacity that can sit in this ballpark. However, it is still loud. That lower bowl can certainly bring a lot of thunder. Saw that last night, especially in a tight contest where 200 plus Chinese Taipei fans were in attendance. And both sides have action going in their respected bullpens. Brian Reyes starting to toss in the Cuba bullpen. So here's Brian Gonzalez. A home run last night, a solo shot, 3 for 10 so far with the lone RBI being the long ball. First pitch swinging, yanked on the ground foul, third base side. Take you back to last night for Brian Gonzalez. He had 3 hits in a row, a home run in the 6th inning, a base hit in the 8th, and then a base hit in the 9th. Came to score on the John Singleton grand slam.
A definite bright spot in the back part of that Diablos order.
The 0-1, cued off the end of the bat. Rolled to the first baseman, Duque, flips it to Cruz covering. Moving to second and third, Franco and Ruiz, 2 gone for Gabriel Gutierrez. We just have not seen, other than the Singleton swing, anything hit on the screws. Edgar Navarro starting to throw in the Diablos bullpen after Yahure. A couple of innings of work in the first and the top of the second. Still spring training for the Diablos Ball Club. And pitch count for pretty much most of these starters as well. We saw that with James Caprillion, who is pitching well against King County Cougars. But a tight pitching, or tight pitch limit, I should say, is part of the reason why you're not seeing these guys go as deep as maybe they would a little bit later on into April. Taken down low and in the dirt for ball 1 to Gutierrez.
It's a heck of a way to kick off your spring training. Competing in a tournament like this in BCL.
Well, it gets you into postseason shape in March. World Baseball Classic is pretty much the same way. Guys showing up for Major League and minor league spring trainings with their club for maybe a week or 2, and then the next thing you know, they're getting prepped for the biggest international tournament representing their countries. The 1-0 in the dirt, and then you have it, the Baseball Champions League a week later, where you're representing your clubs on the highest international stage on the club circuit. All in the course of less than, or just a little over a month since spring training got started back in the middle of February. (2-0) in tight for ball 3. Here they come, the alarms again. Runners at second and third. Diablos trailing by a couple here in the bottom of the second. The 3-0. Down low, ball 4. Cruz has walked, the bases loaded. That sets up Jesus Villalobos.
Been no hits in this inning for the Diablos. It's a hit by pitch against Michael Franco, a walk to Rio Ruiz, that ground out to Gonzalez, and then another walk by Gutierrez to load the bases.
Here's Villalobos. First pitch pulled fouled on the third base side. 0 for 1 in his lone at-bat of Baseball Champions League play. Came in as a defensive replacement for Carlos Sepúlveda late in the game yesterday evening. Had to be helped off the field by the training staff grabbing his wrist. Villalobos took over on defense. He got one at bat.
Yeah, he's got to be the man replacing the man. And he's got an opportunity to do just that. The base is loaded. And a big moment early in this game.
4 hits for the Crocodiles, still none for the Diablos. They have the tying run in scoring position. The 0-1. Bounces in the dirt for a ball to even things up at 1-1.
Cruz has been wild. I wouldn't think Villalobos is probably just looking for one pitch in one location. Other than that, he's going to make Shael Cruz have to work.
The top of the order, Ramon Flores, would be next if it gets to him. A taxing inning nonetheless after a quick 1-2-3 inning in the bottom of the first. Bit of a different story here in the bottom of inning number 2. The 1-1. Inside almost gets Villalobos, who dances out of the way.
It's been almost double the balls to strikes for Shael Cruz. 18 balls thrown, 10 strikes.
It's not been a very sharp inning for the young right-hander. Two one, just catches low outside corner for a called strike 2.
Well, with all that being said, that was actually a beautiful location. Dropped it in right in that outside corner.
Shadows almost engulfing the entire infield. The 2-2. Takes low and outside for ball 3, and everyone will be in motion on full 3-2. Michael Franco at third, Rio Ruiz at second, and Gabriel Gutierrez at first. A ball in the gap will certainly bring home all 3. The payoff. Swinging a foul. We'll try this again. But now maybe not so much after a couple of wind sprints get taken in by the runners. Get a look at the Cuban bench. That's manager Armando Ferrer. The 3-2 again. Taken down low for ball 4. Diablos on the board with a walked-in run. It's Michael Franco who touches the dish. 2-1.
Didn't even need to put a ball in play to do it. 3 walks and a hit by pitch. All self-inflicted on this Crocodiles team.
And that will bring up Ramon Flores. He flew out to left to open up the bottom of the first inning. First pitch takes outside, and that's the 21st ball thrown by Shael Cruz to the 12 strikes he's thrown.
And Ferrer sticking with him. He came out of the dugout for a minute, thought he might go to the bullpen, and then he went back in.
Bueno is cued fouled on the third base side. I think Ferrer was more voicing his vocal frustrations after a couple of borderline and close takes that resulted in the walk.
It actually looks like they've sat down Brian Reyes, who was warming up in that bullpen for the Crocodiles.
And he has since sat down. The 35th pitch between the first and second inning for Shael Cruz. The 1-1. Up and away for ball 2. This has been one of the more taxing innings we have seen over the course of the week. And we've seen it, innings turn crooked numbers, but in an inning where a ball hasn't even landed for a hit yet. 2-1. Ball 3. Now things are really getting away from Cruz. He already walked in a run. He's threatening to walk in a second. It's kind of one of those things where you kind of have to serve something up. The 3-1. High ball 4. Tie game. Ramon Flores will draw the bases loaded walk. And the 4th walk of the inning, the 5th free pass. We're all squared up at 2, and Diablos has yet to even put a hit on the board, and that is going to close the book on Shael Cruz. A long trot out to the mound, but the bullpen door has swung open, and we will step aside here in the bottom of the 2nd. Brian Reyes will now take over. In relief, Moises Gutierrez, the first to greet him. The first pitch taken up high for ball 1. The young 18-year-old kid has 1 season of affiliated experience with the St. Louis Cardinals Dominican Summer League. Went 5-1 over the course of 13 games, a 5.31 ERA, crossed 20 1/3 innings of work, 20 strikeouts, 5 walks. Matanzas, Cuba. The 1-0. Off the outside for ball 2. The nibbling just cannot find the zone, and it's been contagious between Shael Cruz and now Brian Reyes. And again, a dangerous part of this lineup card is in the weeds behind Gutierrez. 2-0. It's up and away for ball 3. And this is starting to turn into a very ugly bottom of the 2nd.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's just the atmosphere getting to him. It's the biggest crowd that we've seen in a Crocodiles game. But they just cannot find the zone.
3-0. And it's called low, ball 4. Another bases loaded walk, the 3rd in a row. And that will give Diablos a 3-2 lead.
It's getting ridiculous. It's 4 walks in a row now. 5 walks total in the game, all coming in this inning. 3 runs have crossed and not a single hit for the Diablos.
That brings up Jose Marmoleos. The first strike from Reyes has finally been sent in. There was a little extra attitude on the snapback glove from Reyes. He was certainly frustrated on a couple of balls that were close but ruled for balls. Fastball misses upstairs. And you can understand the frustration in an inning that has just gone from bad to worse. The 1-1. Marmoleos skies it. Center of the diamond in front of the plate and in front of the mound. It's going to be Reyes to take charge, and it's in and out of the glove. 2 runs cross. Gabriel Guti, Jesus Villalobos, and Roman Flores score. 5-2.
Just bad to worse. This popped up right on the right side of the mound for us, left side of the mound for where Reyes was. Duque stayed home at first base, and he might have been the one that needed to take charge on it anyway. Perez couldn't find it, and by the time Reyes decided to try to throw his glove out, it was just a little bit too late.
Well, they ruled it as a hit, so as it stands right now, that is the first hit of the game for Diablos. And a ruled strike on the outside to John Singleton, who started off this inning with a 3-for-1 putout. And it feels like that was about a half hour ago. A 1 is taken in tight for ball 1. One misses north. Moises Gutierrez now at third. Marmoleos at first. 2-1. Singleton smashes to right. Over the head of Noronha to the wall. In to score Gutierrez. Marmoleos to third. He gets the stop sign. John Singleton with a ringing RBI double.
Diablos team, and of course it comes off the bat of John Singleton. He just squares this one up like he's been doing all tournament, especially the last couple of games. His 6th hit in the last 2 games, and he keeps on racking up the RBIs.
And this inning has taken a toll of Crocodiles defenders, especially the outfielders. They are getting some lead-like feet. They have been standing around for quite a while, and finally some action on a ball put in play.
6 runs on just 2 hits.
Line drive by Franco. That's down the left field line, a fair ball. And to score Marmoleos. Singleton trots on in. Michael Franco with an RBI ringing double. 8-2 Diablos.
Well, now the power's starting to flash as well. And they've been just getting whatever they can take from this Crocodiles pitching staff. I mean, just not even giving them pitches to hit, walking them through. And now that they're starting to go back into the strike zone, it's still not even mattering because Singleton and Franco are using that power and driving in runs.
Another right-hander up and throwing in the Crocodiles bullpen. Rio Ruiz will now step in. He walked and then eventually came around to score. First pitch, a called strike. 8 runs coming in to score in an inning that has 3 hits. 0-1 fastball taken upstairs. Inside for ball 2. Two one. Swing and a miss. Ruiz out in front. 2-2. See
if Reyes can get the Crocodiles back in the dugout. It has been a long half inning for him.
So long now that the shadows are almost all the way covering the outfield. 2-2. Just misses up and away for ball 3.
In danger of seeing our 7th walk of the inning.
Three two. Ball 4. And the inning drags along.
That's now the 2nd walk just for Rio Ruiz in this inning.
I'll bring up Brian Gonzalez. He was the 2nd out of the inning. If we remember, it was a ground out to the first baseman, Yariel Duque. That 2nd out has felt like a while ago. First pitch. And I guess it's a foul ball. At least by the reaction of Brian Gonzalez.
That's what they're saying.
The 0-1 finds the outside corner for a called strike 2. The 0-2 is swung on and missed, and the inning comes to a merciful conclusion. 8 runs on the board. We go to the 3rd, 8-2 Diablos.
Edgar Navarro. First pitch in, misses low and away to Eduardo Blanco. Swing and a miss there to make it 1-1. Navarro, a longtime member of the Chicago White Sox system, 2018 to 2023, made it as high as AAA. The Charlotte Knights, before making his way down here south with this Diablos team. This is low again. Blanco did pick up a single back in the first inning. Part of back-to-back hits between him and Esteban Terry. And the Crocodiles did have a 2-0 lead going into that bottom of the second, but pitching just falling apart a little bit. And a crooked number for this Diablos team. But we've been seeing crooked numbers all week. So no lead is necessarily safe, especially this early in the game. Here's a 3-1. Big swing, got him twisted up. Runs the count full. 95 miles an hour, so ticker definitely up there for Navarro. Three-two, and he gets him swinging. Sixth strikeout of the game between Miguel Yaher and Edgar Navarro. That's a pretty good ratio, 6 out of 7. Bring up Yasiel Gonzalez. He swings and misses. 0 for 1, grounded. That kind of strange play we saw at the first base with Ruiz, flipping it over to Yaher. The 0-1. Bounces away from Gutierrez, evens count up at 1. Saw Edgar Navarro pitch 1 1/3. Had 4 earned runs, so definitely a good opportunity for him to kind of right his wrong and get back in ball shape here. Ground ball to the left side, fielded cleanly by Maikel Franco across the diamond for out number 2. And it has been a fun week here in Mexico City. A lot of exciting games. Ton of storylines across all 5 of these teams, and a lot of heart showed. We already know that the Kane County Cougars will be in that final game tomorrow afternoon. The question is, who will they be playing? Diablos certainly sitting in the driver's seat right now. And Noronha nearly takes one off the back for ball 1. 308 batting average, 4 hits. It's been one of the bright spots on this Cuban team that's just kind of struggled at the plate. As Navarro evens up the count at 1. Back up the middle, look out. Bounces off of Navarro. Fielded now by Villalobos and in time for the out. Looks like Navarro's all good, and a good play by Villalobos. Still up 8-0 or 8-2 as we go to the bottom of the 3rd.
Bien rapidito se fue este inning para Matanza. La tiene fea Matanza con los Diablos. Ya creo que ahí perdieron el juego. Caballero, tenemos 49 usuarios simultáneos ahí conectados. Y tenemos 8 likes. Vamos a dar like, vamos a ayudar a la transmisión. Vamos a compartir, vamos a suscribirnos. Muchas gracias. Seguimos en contacto.
Big second inning put together by this Diablos team. 6 walks, all in 1 inning. Count gets evened up at 1. Reyes was responsible for 2 of them. He also gave up 3 hits. So even though Shael Cruz was the main perpetrator, Reyes still got his hands dirty as well. And he's behind 2-1 now to Gutierrez. Defense straight up against Gutierrez. Sanchez, the third baseman, pinched ever so slightly to the third base line. And it rolls through the hole between short and third. First hit of the game for Gabriel Gutierrez.
And there's just been so many times where the Diablos have just taken advantage and ground balls through that left side of the hole just completely opened the door.
He didn't even move to make an attempt. There was no need with how quickly that came off the bat of Gutierrez. And this Diablos team just continues to roll. So here's Jesus Villalobos. He shoots one over to second, takes 1 hop, fielded by Ramon, and get the out over at second. So the lead runner's gone on a fielder's choice.
It's in that weird in-between line drive where it doesn't look like it could be caught or not. Gutierrez has to kind of do somewhat of a hold-up, not run into a double play. If Ramon decides to go and catch it, it's kind of those spots where you're in no man's land.
Definitely one of the weirder plays. We've seen a lot of weird plays already early in this game as there's a check over on Villalobos. We had the big line drive that went off Duque that had to get fielded by Ramon for a toss over to Cruz. We've seen a drop third strike. We've seen that high fly ball or pop fly back to the pitcher that got dropped. This one now into center field, moving forward was Blanco. Now having to move back. Now he's looking up and it's over the wall. A 2-run bomb by Ramon Flores. And it's 10-2. .4 off the bat, 436 straight out to center field. And Ramon Flores, we've been seeing Carlos Sepulveda in that leadoff spot, so big shoes to fill, and he certainly filled them there. And now Moises Gutierrez for his third at-bat. 0 for 1 with a run scored as an RBI. He walked in the second, score a run. First pitch swinging for him, and this one's high and deep. Into center field, and you can forget about it. Moises Gutierrez, back-to-back home runs for Diablos Rojos. You thought the first one was deep, 474 off the bat of Gutierrez.
And this is the Diablos powerhouse that we have been waiting for and we have received. Right down Broadway. Putting on a show.
Conversation being had now at the mound, and it looks like that's the end of Brian Reyes' day. We'll step aside, talk about the new man when we come back at Estadio Alfredo Harpelou.
In the heart of Montana's untamed wilderness, a legend is brewing.
welcome back and a great look over Estadio Alfredo Harpelú. Gorgeous field here in Mexico City as we are here in our final game of pool play. Last game before Championship Sunday tomorrow. There is Silvio Iturralde, the new pitcher for this Cuban team, looking to find some sort of consistency on what has just been an offensive outpouring by the Diablos. Jose Marmoleos swinging into center field. Moving over is Blanco, and he is not going to get there. It's going to roll to the wall as well. Here goes Marmoleos to second, and he is in with his second hit of the day on a stand-up double. Everything working in the favor of the Diablos in this one. And it's going on from top to bottom. And now John Singleton. Six RBIs for John Singleton in the last two games he's played. First pitch floats in for strike one. 72 miles an hour. Batting average climbing up to 438. That big grand slam against the brothers. He swings and skies this one into right field. Noronha is playing away back, but he comes in and makes the catch. First out of the inning. Make it second. Here's the former big leaguer Maikel Franco. Starting to get back into the groove of things as well. 1 for 1 today. He came around and scored after being hit by a pitch in the second for a 2 RBI double later on in the second. And this Diablos team, if they hold on to this lead and get to go play the Cougars tomorrow in the championship, they are certainly starting to heat up at the top of this order. When you see Moises Gutierrez, Marmoleos, John Singleton, and Franco all just starting to work and show off that power, it is a dangerous team for any pitcher that's in this tournament. The 2-0. Franco watches one float in for strike one. The 2-1. Way outside. Now 3-1. Franco, the big ripped, going down the left side and out of play.
Well, these are the big bats that Diablos have been waiting to get going in this tournament. It's finally happened today here on Saturday afternoon.
Certainly been a coming out day. And we're only in the third inning. 3-2. And it's outside, ball 4. Iturralde's first walk. The 7th on the day for this Cuban team. Third time aboard for Maikel Franco. It brings up Rio Ruiz. Had an unusual feat back in that second inning. He walked twice. Not something you see very often in the same inning. Take strike one here. And Diablos just 2 hitters away from batting around for the second inning in a row. This one softly ground to the left side, but foul. Iturralde up now 0-2. the chops here for Diablos. Trying to rally Rio Ruiz. It's Marmoleos on second, Franco on first. Into center field. Blanco drifting over. A few steps to his right, and that'll end the inning. Still climbing the lead is Mexico. Diablos on top 11-2. We'll be right back. Here in the top of the fourth inning, you get a good look at the Diablos crowd. And there's a lot of interesting food going on here, Trevor. I see a half a baseball with some nachos. I'm not sure. Churros maybe sticking out of that guy's cup?
That's a cup of churros.
Not bad at a baseball game. Edgar Navarro back in. He had a good first inning here in the third. Seeing 3, setting down 3. They'll face 6, 7, and 8, starting with Andre Perez. One of the lone bright spots here on this Crocodiles team today. He's got a home run, 1 for 1. And now ahead 2-0. It was a 2-0 lead for the Crocodiles to start the second inning. Before 8 by the Diablos in the bottom of the inning, and now 3 tacked on in the bottom of the third. Andres Perez at 2-1. And outside now 3-1. We know this is the last game for this Crocodiles team. Diablos fighting for a spot for that championship spot in tomorrow's game against the Cougars.
Well, 9-0 cushion certainly goes a long way here in the middle innings.
It's a win-and-in situation. Foul ball by Perez keeps him alive. In the event of a Diablos loss, there is potential tiebreaker to look at. The easiest case for us certainly would be just a Diablos win, and it's pretty straightforward as Navarro strikes out Perez. Cougars finish their pool play 4-0. The Diablos would finish theirs 3-1. And it would be the Cougars hosting the Diablos Rojos in the BCL Championship.
I make it back-to-back years where the Diablos will find themselves in a BCL championship game. We've got ourselves a pinch hitter.
Yes, we do. Aniba Hidena. Anibal Medina. He'll be pinch hitting here for Yariel Duque. trying to find some sort of spark for this Crocodiles team. First pitch, swinging and missing. Lost his grip there on his left hand, trying to catch up to that 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Make it 0-2. Just the second at-bat of this tournament for Anibal Medina. It's 0 for 1. And he's quickly got his hands full now against Navarro. Gutierrez, the second baseman, playing in pretty much shallow right center. But it's 3 straight strikes from Edgar Navarro. The 8th strikeout combined for this Diablos Rojos team. Navarro just dealing 5 straight retired since entering this game in the 3rd inning. He'll get Luis Sanchez. And he gets him out in front. 84 miles an hour, and that is certainly where the success has been coming from Navarro. He can hit his fastball to 95 and then drop it over 10 miles per hour and just making the Crocodiles look silly on it. Sneaks that one in on the inside edge. And now 0-2.
Looks like it's a guessing game, whether it's the gas or it's the off-speed.
See what Sanchez guesses here. Chance to strike out the side. That one low and away, bit of a throwaway pitch. Well, for Sanchez, he did strike out in the 2nd inning, but it was a drop 3rd strike, ended up on first base, and actually came around and scored. So a bit of an unusual stat line, being 0 for 1 with a run scored. And swing and a miss. 3 up, 3 down. Navarro knocked them all down. 11-2, bottom of the 4th. Diablos all over the Crocodiles.
Está liquidado Matanza. Ya los Diablos le van a meter la yutón, como decimos en Cuba. Muchachones, muchas gracias. Gracias por las visualizaciones, gracias por ahí, por preferirnos. Vamos a darnos un like las personas que no lo han hecho. Y para los que sí, agradecido. Seguimos en contacto.
everything is sent out front and yanked.
Everything earned, that's for sure. Three-two again. Another soft grounder to the left side. Reaching out the glove is Sanchez, but it goes through into left field. Gonzalez reaches for the first time in this game. And an early base runner for the Diablos. Just couldn't reach it. We keep mentioning Sanchez pinching that line, and Diablos just taking advantage, poking it through the hole.
And they're just collecting base runners like they're Pokemon.
Now Gabriel Gutierrez. First pitch outside, no chance. 1-0. Nobody loosening up in the bullpen for the Crocodiles. They would like to run with Iturralde while they can. It's a very moderate lead by Gonzalez over at first, and another ball on the outside edge by Iturralde. Gutierrez gets 3 pitches nowhere near the zone and is up 3-0. Grabs the top edge. Gutierrez thought it was ball 4, but he'll have to settle back in. So a hitter count here for Gutierrez. And he watches another strike. So give Iturralde credit. He is hanging in there and fighting. Luis Hernandez has stood up and is throwing for the Cubans now in that bullpen. Opposite field, trying to push it down the line, but foul. Well, you mentioned Brian Gonzalez not getting cheated up there, neither is Gabriel Gutierrez.
And he really does use foul pole to foul pole, left field line to right field line.
That's what the good hitters do, just take the ball where they put it. Stay with it the whole way. We'll run back to 3-2. 3-2. And it's ball 4. Saw Gonzalez on the run on the pitch. It didn't matter. Second walk issued by Iturralde. The 9th walk of the game for this Crocodiles team. First and second, nobody out for Villalobos. This one popped up just behind first base. Kind of in no man's land, but caught by Noronha. Everybody retreats back, and that'll be out number 1. Lineup rolls back over to Ramon Flores. Definite trouble between Flores and Gutierrez in the 3rd inning. Back-to-back home runs, both to dead center. See what Flores does this time. He takes strike 1. There are the tournament numbers for Flores. 333. All these Diablos players starting to see that batting average rise, the RBIs going up. It just seems like they've really found something at the end of that brothers game and are heating up at the right time. And even at 11-2, it's probably still too early to make assumptions, but you can dream of the matchup that we didn't see last year between the Diablos and the Cougars. And I think probably the 2 best teams at least playing right now. It was a rocky start for the Diablos. Didn't really look like themselves. The Cougars gave it to them pretty good in the night 1. but they've started to grow. They've won every game since. Had a huge, huge game against the brothers, as this one now into right field. Backing up is Noronha. He's looking up, and it's gone into the bullpen of the Diablos. Ramon Flores does it again, and 3 more are going to cross.
Six RBIs on the day. Started off with the RBI walk back in that second inning. And back-to-back innings with home runs. The 2-run shot in the third, and then the 3-run shot in the fourth. And everything is falling in for the Diablos. My goodness, Flores did not miss it.
Ramon Flores getting the job done at the top in place of Carlos Sepulveda, and that is going to be the end of the night for Silvio Iturralde. Crocodiles going back to the bullpen. We'll tell you about the new man on the mound right after this. As Moises Gutierrez fouls that one off 0-2. Second time we've seen Luis Hernandez pitched an inning, 2 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned on the 18 ERA. Trying to limit some damage here. It's 14-2. 3 straight innings of crooked numbers for this Diablos team. 8 runs in the second, 3 in the third so far. 3 here in the fourth. The ground ball by Gutierrez. A nice backhand by Mateo. Tries to throw across, but it does not make it in time. It'll be an infield single for Gutierrez.
That's a difficult play. Deep in the hole, Mateo has to set his feet, trying to get something skipping across the diamond. Just doesn't have enough strength to get it across, though, especially with Gutierrez's speed.
Yeah, just couldn't get his feet set. Couldn't get a strong throw over there to first base, so Gutierrez wheels it out, and he's aboard. Now you get to the power once again here for the Diablos, starting with Jose Marmoleos. Two for 3 in this one, most recently a double in the third inning. 1-0. Marmoleos ahead now, 2-0.
Well, it took about 13 batters to get that first hit. It's been 10 since then.
Take those numbers. The 2-0. Back up the middle for Marmoleos and a base hit. And he is starting to heat up. just in time for this Diablos team. And now John Singleton, which compared to his day yesterday, he has certainly not been quite as assertive. With that being said, he does have an RBI double and a run scored. But 5 hits for him yesterday. His first pitch swinging here and fouling off right near us. Another souvenir opportunity for you, Trevor.
I've already got mine for the trip. I'm good.
This one crushed over to the right side and through. That is going to roll to the wall. It's Gutierrez coming in to score. Marmoleos to third. And a stand-up double for John Singleton.
Yeah, ball just gets pinned underneath the padding. I'll have the umpire go out and just double check to make sure that it's not easily accessible for Noronha.
That ball was smoked, and it does get lodged. You can see it there on the replay.
Which is interesting. We've seen the ball just carade off the wall so easily, and the one time it doesn't, it is just pinned up.
Just a screamer on the ground out there in right field, and there's the confirmation we were looking for. So now 15-2 after the RBI double by John Singleton. And Michael Franco at the plate looking to reach for his 4th time in this game. And maybe do even more damage with 2 runners in scoring position. First pitch. Franco watches in a good location on the outside corner for Luis Hernandez. Franco fouls this one off. It's a quick 0-2. Haven't said that much in this game, at least on this side. The 3rd time in a row, at least 7 hitters have come up for this Diablos team, but Franco goes down on strikes. That is the first strikeout of the game for the Crocodiles. Scratch that, the 2nd. First one since the 2nd inning.
We haven't seen Franco take a swing like that since the game versus Dantos.
So now Rio Ruiz, the 9th man up in this 4th inning. 0 for 1 with a run scored, a couple of walks, both coming in the 2nd. Ground ball to the right side. Ramon, the second baseman, takes a couple of steps, flips it over to Duque, and that is how the inning will end. But it is 4 more tacked on by this Diablos team. The lead is swelling, 15-2. We're going to the 5th.
In the heart of Montana's untamed wilderness, a legend is brewing. Jeremiah Johnson Brewing, the official beer of the Big Sky Conference. Brewed with the rugged spirit of the West. Jeremiah Johnson is simply a world-class, straightforward, no-nonsense beer. Do well.
Mi gente, si la competencia se mantiene con las reglas con las cuales se han jugado últimamente, Si antes del quinto inning Diablos Rojos supera al equipo de Matanza por más de 15 carreras, se acaba el juego. Si no, pues pudiera ser knockout en el séptimo. Hay una regla que se llama regla de super knockout, que es por 15 carreras, que también se pudiera aplicar en caso de que Diablos Rojos lo hagan en el sexto, si es que Matanza no hace más ninguna. Ahora díganme ahí de dónde están viendo la gente. Tenemos 51 usuarios ahí conectados ahí ahora mismo. ¿De dónde son? La gente de Cuba, la gente de México. ¿De dónde la gente ahí? Es que díganme ahí en el chat, díganme algo.
He looked pretty good in his rookie year. He had a 1.33 ERA in 15 games, 20 innings pitched, and at a major league level at just 24 years old. That's pretty impressive. He gets a strikeout here against Yulieski Ramon. 10th of the game. Now for the Diablos. Just able to snap that one down and out of the zone and get Ramon chasing. So here's Terry. First pitch high. We've talked about it a lot with this Diablos team, but just so many former major leaguers that are on this roster top to bottom. And even if this isn't the final strength team of this Diablos, there's still plenty of firepower here, both on the pitching arms and at the bats, to make a big splash in this tournament if they do go on to win this game and go to the championship especially.
Not only that, they'll also reload as they get into the LMB season, especially around the middle part of the year in June and July.
Inside now, 2-1. Just 5 hits, 2 runs This Crocodiles struck out 10 times in just 4 1/3 inning. 2-1. And off the plate, now 3-1, and a good count here for Esteban Terry, who does have one of those 5 hits for this Crocodiles team. One of the brighter bats as well. You see the numbers, 357. He's got 7 hits in this tournament. See who Gonzalez goes with here. Back up the middle and through for a base hit. So back-to-back singles now for the Crocodiles. I shouldn't say that. 2 of their last 3 was singles, but a little bit of life being shown in the 5th inning.
Yeah, this is the middle of the order that has produced for them mostly over the course of the tournament. First time since the 1st inning they've had multiple hits. Check that, make that the 2nd. They had the home run, then the double by Mateo.
Definitely got lost in those 3rd and 4th innings. And chasing 13 runs certainly feels like a tall task, but you just have to start pushing runs across little by little. I mean, you get 2 here, 3 there, and this is still early enough that a comeback isn't completely out of the woods, but they have to start digging deep, and they especially have to start digging deep on the pitching side and defense. But it starts here at the plate.
It's more like an inning that needs at least 5 runs to start making a bit of a comeback.
That's right. Well, they're doing a good job being patient against Gonzalez. It's led to a couple of singles. Eduardo Blanco still trying to make his mark in this 3 spot. And a bit of a struggle for him this tournament. Ground ball to the right side. It's fielded by Ruiz, flips it to 2nd for 1, and that's all they'll get.
Another difficult bouncing ball that we're seeing on this infield. Ruiz gives ground. He is able to get at least one of the lead runners. No chance to turn 2, however.
Yeah, I thought it was going to bounce over his head. But a good leap by Ruiz, and at least gets 1 over at 2nd base. Sets up runners at the corners and 2 outs. And one of the bigger bats on this team for the Crocodiles in Yasiel Gonzalez. So we'll see Gonzalez v. Gonzalez here. There can only be one. First pitch. This is low, 92 miles an hour. Wind has been steadily blowing left to right pretty much all afternoon. Gonzalez fouls that one off. Victor Gonzalez set for the 1-1. This one on the ground. Having to charge in is Franco, and he smartly lets it roll foul. That's a high baseball IQ play by Maikel Franco.
Well, that was as close as it gets to almost just nicking the 3rd base bag. The ball stayed fair for 89.5 feet.
You can see it. You knew he took a little bit of a risk there, but when you're up 15-2, I think you can afford it.
I think Franco was a little bit surprised, too, that it just at the very last second took the turn left.
That's what all that experience will get you. Pause here.
We've only seen a couple of bunts rolled up and down that 3rd base and 1st base side, and really we don't know exactly how much if there is any sort of tilt where that ground could push a ball foul, and not like on a natural grass surface where you have the natural cut of the grass that would push any ball down that third base or first base line.
Back with the 1-2. Couldn't get Yasiel Gonzalez to chase. And now the 2-2 spoiled once again. Battle of the Gonzalez's rages on. Luis Mateo over at third, Eduardo Blanco at first. And the 2-2. We'll do it again. Yasiel just hanging in there. Waiting for his pitch. And he fouls it off once again. Getting some work over there is Jose Noronha. It's his second ball he's had to catch off the bounce from a foul tip from his teammate.
He's getting a ton of pitches on that inner half of the plate, and all he's able to do is just utilize the label of the bat and just spoil him foul.
See if Victor Gonzalez mixes it up. 2-2 again. Poked into right field and down for a hit. That's going to score one. Crossing home plate is Mateo. Getting the wave around is Blanco. There'll be no play at the plate, so it'll be a 2 RBI double for Yasiel Gonzalez.
He gets the fortune there out over the outer half of the plate and just pokes it into the right center field alleyway. And again, we've seen this time and time again. A ball that just kicks off the turf and it skims all the way to the wall, and that's easy extra bases.
It's a really good fight put on by Yasiel Gonzalez, showing why he deserves to hit out of that 4 spot. We'll have a quick mound meeting here with Victor Gonzalez and the Rojos infield.
It's kind of hard when you're just battling up there against a counterpart who's just spoiling time and time and time again. And it feels like you may have a quality pitch on the outer half of the plate, maybe even off the plate. The next thing you know, you're quote-unquote punished for it. It's a 2-run double.
Even despite it, still 15-4. Maybe just a quick meeting for Gonzalez not to get into his own head too much about this. He's got 2 outs, and if he can get out of this inning where it is, they still have an 11-run lead. But finally, some signs of life from this Cuban team. It seems like they've been on cruise control since the 2nd inning. Jose Noronha keep that momentum going. First pitch swinging, launched to left field. And this one is gone. If it was fair, it was crushed, and it absolutely was. That one was a missile.
I mean, it went so high, you almost lose it up in the clouds out there in left field. It ends up tracking all the way back into that 2nd tier of the upper deck. I mean, 440 feet, that looked a little bit more closer to 480. That's the way it looked and sounded off the bat.
Yeah, I lost it when it went over the shades that they have here at Estadio Alfredo. And I knew it was crushed, just waiting on the signal from the umpires, and that was absolutely crushed watching the replay. So don't look now, but they have the lead back down to single digits. Big 5th inning, 4 runs crossing for the Crocodiles in a 15-6 game. Adri Perez now, trying to keep the party going. One is inside. Seems like the Crocodiles doing a better job working themselves into these good hitter counts. It's just been Victor Gonzalez missing his spots, especially losing that battle to Yasiel Gonzalez. Now the 2-1. It's outside.
I think there's a bit of the fatigue on that at-bat to Yasiel Gonzalez. It was a lengthy at-bat where it was one pitch after another, and the inning just kind of keeps getting away from Gonzalez just a little bit. Starting to see a right-hander throw in the Diablos bullpen. It's just been an interesting game so far. Both sides putting up some big scores on, especially in this fifth inning, a 4-run spot, but it kind of just feels like the game has had a very interesting pace.
Well, and imagine where this Crocodiles team might be if they didn't have all the walks. I mean, they were walking in runs, hit by pitches, at least 4 or 5 you can credit just to that. So this gets chopped back up the middle. It's a nice grab by Gutierrez, but he loses it on the transfer. And another man aboard now for the Crocodiles.
It's a chaotic inning. Just choppers going to the infielders, choppers that are just out of reach of the infielders, and it's just such a peppery field where all you have to do is make contact and things are going to happen, and that's going to pull the plug on Gonzalez.
Looks like that's it for Victor Gonzalez. Couldn't quite get out of the inning. He's given up 4. Crocodiles are still looking to punch through here and get this game closer in the top of the 5th. We'll step aside and tell you about the new man when we come back.
Bueno, difícil ahora para el knockout, así que el juego se va a extender un poco más. Vamos al like, señores. Muchas gracias a los 49 usuarios simultáneos que tenemos. Muchas gracias a todos. Den like, compartan, suscríbanse. Nos vemos luego.
Beautiful afternoon here in Mexico City, getting ready to set to a beautiful night. And Diablos turning towards Jorge Monroy to get out of this inning. It's weak contact on the foul ball to start. Stands 6'1", 220, the 24-year-old. He's been in the Mexican League for a while. Pitching for Team Mexico for the Diablos Rojos in 2023 and 2025. Wasave in the Mexican Winter League as well. One of the few guys that doesn't have any sort of affiliated or big league experience.
Certainly the minority on this roster.
He is ahead 0-2 though here against Duque, and he sets him down. Just like that, third strikeout now for Duque, and that is how the inning will end. But 4 get in for this Crocodiles team. They cut into the lead. Diablos look to get him back when we come back.
Gracias a Sergio López por su comentario. Gracias sí también a Josh. Gracias Mariela. Muchas gracias a todos los que están comentando y todos los likes. Muchas gracias muchachos. Vamos a dar like, vamos a dar like.
Team to start thinking they might have some faith. They got in 4. What needs to be done for them to start to keep creeping back in this game?
Well, it starts with a quick inning right here. Get right back into the dugout, get the offense going, and we just have not seen a shutdown inning by the Crocodiles since the bottom of the first inning when it was a 1-2-3 frame. Every other inning so far has sent at least 8 men or more to the plate from the second, third, and fourth inning. So here we are in the 5th. You're at the halfway point. You need to have one of those shutdown innings to give you a hope. If not, it's going to look pretty brutal through the rest of the way.
Behind on Brian Gonzalez, 2-1. Every single member of this Diablos team has crossed home plate at least one time as Gonzalez chops this one into deep short. It's Mateo that fields it across the diamond, not in time. It's an infield single for Brian Gonzalez.
I mean, it feels like you're playing on an arcade mode here. The ball just bounces so quick and so sometimes unpredictable. Even a ball on a backhand that on most places is usually a routine ground out here, it turns into a tricky play and an infield single.
Yeah, how many ground balls have we seen Mateo have to field in shallow left field and just try to power across his body to get that throw there in time? Gabriel Gutierrez now, 1 for 1. He's reached all 3 times with a couple of walks. It's in for strike 1. And it's been done all over top to bottom for this Diablos lineup, but really the top has been doing the most damage. So this is where Hernandez needs to lock in. Try to retire where he can the bottom part of this Diablos order, because when it gets back up to the top, it has been dangerous, especially Ramon Flores, who has back-to-back innings with a home run. He's fell behind here, though, 2-1. Short lead by Gonzalez over at first. Gutierrez works a 3-1 count. And this Diablos crowd starts to get loud. Three-one. Big swing. Tried to tack on 2 more quickly for this Diablos team. But instead it'll run full. It's the 3-2. And ball 4. It's a story as old as time right now for the Crocodiles. Another walk. 9 in this game so far. The third to Gutierrez.
Oh, while we're at it, let's take a look at the championship game tomorrow. Starts at 4 o'clock Eastern time. King County, they're the #1 seed, going 4-0 in pool play. They will play as the home team.
Well, in the meantime, it's a ground ball shot through the left side by Villalobos, and crossing home plate is going to be Brian Gonzalez from second. And just like that, the Diablos striking back.
Well, you asked me what needed to happen. The exact opposite happened. It starts out with that single and the walk, and then an RBI single. And just looking for a lockdown inning, it just has not happened today for the Crocodiles, and it's once again back to the top of the order.
And Ramon Flores, who has hit a home run in the 3rd inning and a home run in the 4th inning, has an opportunity to do something that doesn't get done very often. 3 home runs in 3 straight innings. That'd be something. Scores back up 16-6, double-digit lead for the Diablos Rojos. And quickly down 0-2 is Ramon Flores. The 0-2. Flores with an easy take on the outside pitch there. This one now high into right field. Drifting over is Noronha, but it'll be Blanco who calls him off. Tagging from second is Gutierrez, and he'll get to third. And that's the first out of the inning for the Crocodiles.
Off the bat, it looked like it possibly had enough, but it just gets too high, and it dies up in the air. It's like just got a little too deep on it.
Doesn't get any easier. Moises Gutierrez with a home run in his own right, had a single as well. 2 RBIs, 3 runs scored on 2 hits in this game. And another opportunity for him to drive in a run with Gutierrez on third base. First pitch. And it goes through the hold on the right side. Gutierrez will trot in easy. A big turn from Villalobos will get him to third base. And it's the 3rd RBI of the game for Gutierrez. In an 11-run lead now for the Diablos.
Wide open hole through the right side. Now left-handers love it. Pitch low and inside too. Just drops the barrel on it. Turns it right on through into right field. And again, the shutdown inning just could not happen. And Diablos playing add-on and more add-on.
Well, it's been pouring here for the Diablos. Offense from all directions as Marmoleo settles in and fouls one straight back. He almost had a chance at that if it was a little bit higher. So an 0-1 now to Marmoleos. He'll take for strike 2. And the pitch floats in low, makes it 1-2. We're a little bit worried about what it would mean without Carlos Sepulveda in this offense, and so far it hasn't really mattered. 15 hits, 17 runs. Okay, an obvious bat they're going to hope to have back at the top if Diablos goes to the championship game tomorrow. But with the season rapidly approaching, they probably won't rush anything as this runs way inside on Jose Marmoleos.
Well, what would the scoreline be if Sepulveda was still in this game?
That's a great question. He's having a good tournament. Probably be responsible for at least 1 or 2, if not more than that. 2-2. Marmoleos able to run it full. Talked about it a little bit, but definitely a bat that the Diablos are happiest starting to show up is Jose Marmoleos. 3 hits in this one, 2 RBIs. And this one is gone. Look down for 1 second, and Marmoleos pops a 3-run homer. And right on cue, his bat is completely alive.
That ball was absolutely socked. Above the bullpens. Not even Noronha turned his back.
Yeah, he got exactly what he was looking for. Right down the middle, hanging. And Marmoleos gave it a ride. 3-run bomb. 3rd, 4th, and 5th RBIs. And yeah, Noronha just with his hands on his knees. That is going to be the end of Luis Hernandez. The Cubans going to their bullpen once again. It is absolutely pouring in runs for the Diablos here in Mexico City. We're going to step aside. 26 for Diablos. Well, back here in a 20-6 game, Diablos on top of the Crocodiles, and there is the new man on the mound, Yasny Garcia, looking to try to put out this fire that the Diablos have continued to start. It has been up and down action in this lineup. This is outside ball 1 against John Singleton. If this score holds, we're looking at a matchup between the Cougars and the Diablos. And the way the Diablos are playing right now, seems like that would be a pretty exciting matchup.
It's safe to say that a 16-run comeback is possible, but maybe not probable.
The outside now 3-0. It's been patient approaches and the big swings as we've been coming to expect from this Diablos team starting to run through. And something that a pitching staff that has struggled a little bit from the Cougars would have to worry about. And of course, they've been producing a lot more offense than the Crocodiles, so it's a 4-pitch walk to John Singleton.
Well, that bullpen in left field is starting to look very lonely out there.
You're not kidding. But it just seems like the firepower has absolutely arrived with this Diablos team, and potentially that pitching staff that's been struggling a little bit with the Cougars. I mean, they're going to have to hunker down and try to figure out how to slow down the Diablos.
Well, the one good thing about this is that they had the early game today. They have a little bit of extra time to rest. In about 24 hours, we will crown a champion for Baseball Champions League 2026. So they at least have that luxury of being able to have that little extra hours. But at the same time, you're looking at 20 runs on the board to 16 hits. Remember, a lot of this got started because the Crocodiles were just unable to keep the walks at a low number. And for the whole tournament, the Diablos just would not take advantage of those walks. They finally have now. So now you're seeing what could happen when you give a team with this offensive caliber extra outs.
Well, you mentioned the offensive caliber. Here goes another big fly into that bullpen of the Crocodiles, almost like sending a message. Michael Franco with a 2-run shot, and it's 22-6.
This feels unheard of, just at least for us. Last year, obviously, there was the big score lines. Right now, we are on pace to having a 40-run game.
5th home run of the game for this Diablos team.
I mean, we're almost at a point where every single guy on this Diablos roster is going to have a home run.
Well, they have one man left that doesn't have a hit, and it's the man at the plate, Rio Ruiz. So he's looking to change that and join the party. 22 runs pushed across for this Diablos team.
And that's 3 innings in a row of at least 8 men or more to the plate.
You'll usually see a lot of success if you can do that 3 times in a row.
They're almost at their second 8-run frame of the day.
Ruiz back up the middle, and he is aboard. Every single Diablo with at least 1 hit against the Crocodiles.
It's an offense that just doesn't stop. The ball gets put in play, and it just somehow finds a way through or finds a way over the fence. It really just never ends with these guys, and we're seeing them what happens when they're seeing the ball well, and it's just not ending. Remember, it took them over an inning and 2/3 to get their first hit. And now they have 18.
Certainly came up quick. And it has not stopped since as Brian Gonzalez settles in. It was opening night in this BCL. The Cougars against the Diablos that saw Kane County take a 14-7 win. But it feels like this Diablos team has come a long way since game 1. The firepower in this offensive unit, especially in the middle, the bats of Gutierrez and Marmoleos and Singleton and Franco, even Ramon Flores, Rio Ruiz, these guys can all take advantage of a home run at any point. And they are heating up at the exact right time. It's a 2-2 now to Brian Gonzalez. This one bounces in. Stopped by Perez. Runs the count full. There's still just 1 out. See where Villalobos goes. Excuse me, Garcia goes. And it's outside. 1-2 on the bases. And the 10th walk of the game.
That's not doing you any favors. That's 10 free passes. Essentially put 10 runs on the board. And it's pretty much what's happened.
Unable to catch any sort of breaks, whether it's shooting themselves in the foot with the walks or even when they are starting to put balls in the zone. Diablos just being all over it. Gabriel Gutierrez has reached every time. 3 walks and a single. Count evens up at 1. So assuming this holds, what is the Cougars pitching staff going to have to do to try to hold these bats down?
Again, it just stems of you can't walk guys. You can't give them free passes. And then also at the same time is you can't just lay in just a couple of hittable pitches. It really does have to come you being able to be aggressive enough to go after this Diablos lineup card, but also at the same time not giving in. So it really is a fine line to tiptoe. But again, it's a Cougars team that had success against them already, so at least they have that sort of confidence going into Sunday.
This one into right field, charging in and making the catch is Noronha for out number 2.
And not only that, too, it also becomes a point where you're playing for a championship as well. So there's that adrenaline that comes into it. So there's that aspect of a game where you know you're going into a dogfight. A 22 scoreline should certainly at least make you at least open up your eyes and realize, okay, we cannot just fool around here. We need to go right after work. But we've seen that from the Cougars so far all tournament long. So that's nothing new. What is new is that Diablos have woken up, and their offense has not stopped since that 8-run second inning. I mean, they really have put the pedal to the metal down, and you're starting to see what almost an 100% lineup card from them looks like.
Certainly feels like a much different team than what the Cougars saw night 1 of this BCL. Villalobos swings and misses at the first pitch. But the Cougars did bring all of the strong arms in the American Association that we saw last year, including a very strong bullpen, that if they can get a lead, more times than not they hold a lead. And we've been seeing consistent bats this entire tournament from them as well. I mean, it certainly has the makings of what could be a high-scoring affair. But if the pitching staff can do anything like they did to this team in night 1, it'll just come down to the Cougars' bats having to execute.
Not only that, it also comes down to the defense being played. The Cougars have played solid defense, just maybe a few errors here or there, but it's been a sharp defensive showing. And again, the Diablos are going to put the ball in play. You can't strike them all out. So how do you play defense to respond? And we're not exactly seeing the sharpest display here this afternoon.
The 0-2. Missing low and outside.
But again, though, Diablos are playing a lengthy game, so they've been on their feet for a while as well. So maybe that extra rest that King County's getting today is going to certainly help them go to tomorrow.
This one blocked away by Perez, straight back in front. Nobody moving in this sort of game.
He took a bite out of Perez.
Yeah, it's the last thing you want. They're going to go check on him. It's like he took that one off the hand.
Well, we're already past the 2-hour marker. We're slowly getting to the 2.5-hour marker, and we're still not through the 5th inning.
Well, that will happen when you have a football score up of 22-6. I mean, it's been 8 runs in the second, 3 in the third, 4 in the fourth, and 7 so far in the 5th for Diablos. They still have a runner in scoring position. Perez gets the magic spray, and he's good to go. It's 2-2. 2-2 is fouled off, and off the roof, straight down. Here comes a souvenir. Great catch.
Tall man wins. Tall man wins.
That's right. You get one opportunity, because if it bounces off your hand, you're never going to see it again. Back at it, the 2-2. Low and outside, and it runs it full.
I mean, we're almost at to the point where we're seeing the second 12-batter inning.
Great snag. Showing the replay there of that fan making a catch. So we go to the 3-2. Into center field. Moving back is Blanco. Shifting over to his right, and he will make the catch. And mercifully, the fifth inning comes to an end. A touchdown put up by the Diablos. They go up 22-6. We're going to the sixth inning here in Estadio Alfredo Harpelú. (22-6), but the Diablo faithful still hanging out. We got 4 more to play, and taking you the rest of the way is Trevor Curl.
Thank you so much, Con. We're here in the top half of inning number 6, and this has been a slugfest for the Diablos. 8 runs in the second, 3 runs in the third, 4 in the fourth, and 7 in the fifth. We're finally in the top half of inning number 6. Monroy's first pitch, squared up, popped up, and caught by Moises Gutierrez. First out of the inning, 1 away. Well, we talked just going into the frame what has to happen for the Crocodiles just to give them some sort of life, and that is, 1, you got to be able to have a shutdown inning. Well, the polar opposite happened. After a 4-run top of the 5th, the Diablos matched it and then added 3. I'm taking upstairs to start things off to Luis Mateo. Well, now it's Juan Martinez.
Maybe there was just a little bit of magic in the top of that 5th inning. And any sort of Cinderella story we might have been seeing certainly came to an end with that 7-run spot by the Diablos.
Oh, we can pretty much now scratch this up to a championship Sunday. Kane County Cougars, barring the comeback of the century, be hosting the Diablos Rojos del Mexico for baseball champions of 2026. Off the end of the bat, to Monroy. Flip it to your Ruiz. 2 gone here in the top of inning number 6.
Well, we talked about it all the way back on day 1, that nightcap could have been a potential championship preview. On paper, it seemed like they were the 2 favorites to go, and here we are. I mean, the Cougars have just been dominating all tournament long, but I don't think you're going to find a hotter team at the plate right now than this Diablos team.
Well, there was a moment that looked like it wasn't meant to be. Yesterday, the brothers gave the Diablos a bit of a scare, especially in the middle to back end of the ball game. That scare, though, was put to bed quickly by John Singleton in his 9th inning grand slam. But if you are Kane County right now, you're sitting back at your hotel, you got your feet up, you're enjoying the last evening before you roll into Championship Sunday. Despite what the scoreline you're seeing, we talked about it just a moment ago, you saw the confidence that you beat this Diablos team going into it. And again, they're putting up 22 runs today. That's not a guarantee that they're going to do the same tomorrow. They can, they have the firepower to, but we have seen that this is a different side between Kane County and this Cuban team. Remember, Kane County, they blanked Cuba, and not only that, they also put up 9 runs against them. So you're seeing the different side of the competition, and right now the crew that is of the American Association, they feel pretty good going into this Sunday matchup. Now, this does mean it makes for fun championship baseball. Don't get me wrong. We are still going to see a Game 7-like atmosphere tomorrow. There's no tomorrow. There's no, or I guess, well, technically today, there will be a tomorrow. But on Sunday, as of course is what I'm mentioning, it's it. You have 9 innings to play, 27 outs. Unless you need more, you need more. But you go into a championship game, and you're thinking to yourself, the last thing you have to do is just play the same brand of baseball that got you to Sunday in the first place. Solid defense, smart pitching. Then your offense just needs to do the same thing that they've been doing throughout the entire tournament. Not only that, you've been able to keep up with this Diablos team. You've proved it back on opening night of the Baseball Champions League tournament. You are in a hostile environment. We have seen that this crowd does play a factor. But again, it is a group of guys who have been there, done that before. They know what they're getting into, and that experience is going to take them a long way. The only question that we have so far is what's the starting matchup going to be? We've already seen what every starter has from Kane County. The big arms in the back end of the bullpen didn't exactly get heavily used up. Now, Dantos certainly did give Kane County a bit of a scare late in the 9th inning earlier today. But again, it all comes down to the same confidence that you had going into Tuesday that got you into that opening day win through the rest of the tournament to now you're 4-0. What happens tomorrow is the confidence that those guys have are going into a sleep tonight and tomorrow, and they know exactly what they're facing.
Well, you kind of touched on what I was going to say is they had to go against that Dantos team, and they faced a little bit of adversity. We hadn't seen that yet in the BCL. And I think at the end of the day, that adversity is good for you. Instead of just steamrolling every team, just having a chance to see what it's like to be down. And not that they were necessarily in an elimination point or anything, but they had to rally a comeback to come back and win that game, go perfect in pool play. So they faced struggle. And that can be valuable.
3-2 on Esteban Terry. Ball 4, back-to-back walks.
And certainly the pitching that Diablos is going to see from Kane County, we've already seen it in their first game. It's better than what they've seen tonight. And it's better than what they've seen the rest of this tournament. And I think that's going to be a huge factor for the Cougars in a place where they might be stronger
So my question is, though, for Diablo, are we going to see a full-blown rematch? Is Connor Ash going to take the ball for King County, and is James Caprillion, is he going to take the ball for the Diablos?
I think that's a very real possibility. Now, both bullpens have a ton of relief and ability with long relievers, short relievers, to throw as many pitchers as they need to throw. But we haven't seen Ash. We haven't seen Caprillion since that first game. And I think both of them would like another opportunity to go out and throw based on how they performed in game one.
Yeah, James Caprillion, he was masterful. He pitched very well.
Right.
Connor Ash, not as solid as we're usually used to seeing him. So I'm sure that there's a bit of a fire lit under Connor Ash's belt that says, I'm ready to go and prove to why I was one of the best pitchers in the American Association earlier this year and give it another run and see what happens. Base hit back up the middle. Brian Pena was pinch hitting. That's going to bring home a run. Crossing the dish is Ulieski Ramon. It's down 22-7. But really, this is what we think about here. In an absolute blowout here right now at this moment, Diablo still has to play the rest of this game, and this is a long one. Even when you're winning by 25, or not 25, my goodness, my math is terrible right now. 15, it's a long day of baseball for all of us involved. That's no excuse for math skills sucking. But regardless.
It's a football score.
It is a football score. But you still got to play the rest of this game. I mean, we're at the 2.5 hour mark. We're past that, almost 2 hours and 40 minutes or so. So here we go. We still got to play the rest of this game. Still got to get back, obviously. No matter what, you are putting your body in tax mode here. You're